As the Karmelo Anthony case continues to make headlines, we are directed to another story that's in Texas involving two other students, a Claysen Allison and a Jose Luis Ramirez. This occurred back in 2022. Claysen Allison fatally stabbed Jose Ramirez in a school bathroom with a pocket knife. Let's look at the similarities and the differences in these two cases.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
More witnesses took the stand today in the murder trial of Claysen Allison.
Allison is facing charges alleging he stabbed and killed fellow Belton High School student Joe Ramirez. 6 News reporter Sydney Walker was back in the courtroom for day 2 of the trial. And Sydney, what did you hear from today?
Today we heard from a Belton PD detective who was there that day on the scene, as well as a close friend of Claysen's who tried to break up the fight before it even happened, plus 3 boys who were in the bathroom the day of the fight when it occurred. Yesterday we heard a lot from staff about what Joe's injuries were and the response that was taken, but today was focused way more on the dynamics between the 2 boys as well as their respective friend groups. For instance, after multiple graphic crime scene photos were shown, we learned from a Belton PD detective's testimony that he had obtained a video taken inside the bathroom by one of Joe's friends. His friend admitted Ramirez liked to have his fights recorded, but that he deleted the video because he was, quote, scared of what happened. The video shows Ramirez punching Allison, and Allison swinging back a knife in his right hand. Allison is later cornered, and a scream can be heard coming from Ramirez.
So basically what we're hearing here, guys, and I don't know, maybe you heard it too, sounds like Ramirez was the aggressor. And this literally happened in school, unlike Karmelo Anthony, who was at a track meet at a track that it was not at school. But people keep saying it was at school. We got Claysen Allison, who retaliated to the punch and stabbing Ramirez 4 times. And he's claiming self-defense. I haven't heard this one on the news, and you're right, folks. If you're thinking, hey, you know what? Whenever it's black and white, it's always going to get played up in the media. And I agree with you. And that's a damn shame, Johnson. But we are here. Here we are. You know what I'm saying? It's what they do. Well, what I won't do is pretend that we're not living in America, because America's been doing that since America's been America. Even before that, even before this country was officially a country, we've been doing this. Here's the thing, folks. For some reason, he's been out on bail. Once again, at less of a bond. Anyway, so the trial began yesterday, or on the 14th. The evidence includes school surveillance, 911 calls, and wireless cell phone video showing Ramirez throwing the first punch. So, we'll see how this one goes. Once again, we got a knife on school grounds. In this one, the assailant, the person who finished the job, he stabbed the deceased 4 times. We'll see where this goes. Because I don't know. So it looks like making bail doesn't seem to be that crazy an idea, even though with the Karmelo Anthony story, they're even not only threatening the life of Karmelo Anthony's family, including his younger siblings, and his mom and his dad, but they now resorted to threatening the life of the judge, who is a black woman, who's a Republican, who lowered the bond from $1 million to $250,000. That's not as low as it could have went. As we can see here, there's precedents to lower it even lower, and she didn't.
But they can see someone that looks like them on the bench. I think that is so beneficial because it's representation. And when they look at me, young kids, law students, whoever it is, I want them to say, if she can do it, I can do it too.
They're even threatening her life, that she has to go get security. And we just saw a segment where our good friends, Benny Johnson, our good conservative friends, just made it seem like no one does this except black people that get, I don't know. It just made it seem like everything that's been going on has been sort of crazy and sort of a black thing. Anyway, and there's been no precedent where this has ever happened before. Like I said, look, hey, we got a long way to go and more evidence is going to come out. And, so I'm not suggesting we know everything that we're going to know. All I'm saying is, if you're a person that supported Daniel Penny and you don't support Karmelo Anthony, I got to wonder why. But if you're a person that support neither, then at least I understand your point of view. At least you can make the argument, hey, I don't support Daniel Penny, and I don't support this guy, Claysen Allison, who was punched first by Joe Ramirez to respond by using a knife and stabbing a guy 4 times, or another kid 4 times. And I don't support Karmelo Anthony. And I would say I understand where you're coming from, because you're consistent. My problem is with people that lack consistency. There are people that I know detest violence no matter what happens. And unless somebody tries to take your life with a weapon, they would say, get away, run away, fly away, get away. And that's just how they are, and that's how they've always been. And if they're consistent with that, I would have no words for them, no negative words for them, because that's a person who believes what they believe. But I haven't been a person who grew up a certain way, where people did get violent, where people did pull guns and knives and stuff, and people did jump people. And I have seen people get beat to the point where they almost lost their lives or were severely injured by a fist fight. Because when people get knocked down, sometimes they stomp you. All types of stuff happen. Point is this. My background leads me to believe that once you lay hands on people, you don't know where it's going to go. So this Claysen Allison story, I just became aware of it. But hey, we got to keep an eye on it, because we're keeping an eye on the Karmelo Anthony story. And this serves as a good barometer check, right? Allison admitted to stabbing Ramirez. He was indicted by a grand jury in June 2022 for murder. And initial bond was set at $1 million, just like Karmelo Anthony. His bail was reduced to $175,000. That's considerably lower than Carmelo's bail.
I think you can imagine the press coverage on this case has been immense, and the online and public reaction has been immense. And unfortunately, as is common in our culture, especially lately, the vitriol and the public reaction one way or the other has been intense. And threats and talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family. It's not good for the peace and safety of our community. So, I would ask, and I know both sides would ask, that the temperature on this be allowed to come down, that, the media, you guys have a job to do, and I understand that, everyone does, but, at the same time, we just ask everyone in the public and everywhere to let this process play out fairly and fully for both sides.
And he stabbed Ramirez chest, back, legs, and arm. He stabbed him 4 times. And he caught another charge afterwards, like after being home on bond, he caught another charge and was able to bond and still stay out of jail. He's also arguing self-defense. Perfect. You made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you. Now, Google thinks this next video is going to be perfect for you. It's right up your alley. So click the next video, watch that with me, and let's keep this politics going. You're built for this.